You're watching me on Aussie Beach TV.
We're down here at Parliament House for Restore Australia and the 3rd of December protests. Look, I know a lot of you out there basically have said to yourself, look, I'd do a better job as Prime Minister. You know, I think it's about time someone stepped up, so I'm gonna look at doing that soon. You know, Robbo for PM. Yeah. Look, one thing I do believe in since being involved with Restore Australia is there are a lot of rules and laws out there that we don't know about, and most of them are unjust anyway. So what Restore Australia are trying to do is here's a new draft copy of the Australian Constitution. I don't even know the old one, but I've had a good read of this a few times. I don't read anything, so I implore all you young people to put down your Twilight books and your, you know, your vampire things. The real vampires are in Canberra and they're sucking this country dry, right? Get a copy of this, right? Get onto it, eh?
Aussie Beach TV. You're watching Aussie Beach TV. You're watching Aussie Beach TV. The hottest girls you will ever see.
How do you feel about the carbon tax?
Tax, more tax, another tax, this tax, that tax. I don't think it is going to change the world. We've had every tax. We've had every attempt to change things. Yeah, we don't need it.
That's right, Robbo.
We don't need it. We destroy so many industries, and I mean, the mining industry doesn't need it. They don't need a resource rent tax, mining tax, carbon tax.
Yeah.
Enough taxes. GST, I think people earn money and they deserve that money. They work hard. They can use that in their way of being free and for what they believe in. I don't think it's someone else's right to take that off them by force, threaten them with jail, threaten them with things that just they are not deserving of, and to say that I'm going to do good with this, that is doing wrong, and you don't do wrong to do good.
The GST is overpriced. Restore Australia has done the sums on this, and if we had a federal government with regional parliaments and electorates of just 5,000 people, 50 electorates in a region, we could cut down the tax to no more than 2%, in fact less than 2%.
Less than 2%?
Yes, and that would pay for everything.
And the government would still be funding?
The government would be giving money back at the end of each financial year, because we would look at it as an investment in all the work that our citizens do would be an investment in the country, and therefore they deserve a dividend at the end of the year for any profits that we make.
It's a lot more of a burden. There's a lot more paperwork involved, which, you know, I can understand for some small businesses that haven't got their head around the paperwork side. It's an extreme burden. Yeah. But if you get the right programs in place, you can make it work. I've made it work to my advantage by going, well, we've got it, accept it, and use it to your advantage as best you can.
We're literally just wasting money. Why should we have to pay for it?
Why do you think we're wasting money though?
Good answer, not sure why.
Alrighty, how do you feel about John Howard's gun buyback scheme in the 1990s, which effectively left law-abiding citizens, Australian citizens, defenceless?
Well, yes it did, and really there was no purpose in this buyback scheme. There's many theories going around, a number of conspiracy theories about the whole setup of the Bryant issue and the way the government constructed that in order to get guns off law-abiding citizens. Now, you take away the guns from the criminals, yeah, fine, I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. But which criminal is going to go to and say, I'll hand my gun in? Yeah. Like, that's going to happen. Not.
We didn't go around indiscriminately shooting people, and that bloke that did the shootings down in Tasmania, he was a set-up. It was a false flag. It wasn't real. And it was just an excuse for them to take away our guns so that they can go on to the next step of the agenda and make a one-world government.
Yeah, exactly.
We're defenceless. Now let me just make another point here. Yeah. If you go out to the ocean down there and have a look at the ships coming by every day, now those ships are coming from Asia, from Europe, from everywhere. How much would it take to fill those ships up instead of with goods, cheap, soddy goods, fill them up with troops and come in to Australia on a long weekend and take over the country? We're defenceless. They send out a couple of attack helicopters to Canberra. That's our government gone. We can't defend ourselves. we would be talking Chinese or some other language, and our country would be taken over.
Yeah, exactly.
Very scary. We need our guns back. We need our guns back.
Aussie Beach TV. You're watching Aussie Beach TV. You're watching Aussie Beach TV. The hottest girls you will ever see.
What do you think of Campbell Newman and the LNP government in Queensland at the moment?
Campbell Newman. I've met Campbell Newman on several occasions, and at first he seemed pretty promising to me. He
Margaret
said
Thatcher, sort of?
he had a lot of promises that he was going to stop mandatory fluoride in rural towns. He was going to make the town halls decide whether to cut the budget because it spent too much. And then he flip-flopped on that when he got in, and he's flip-flopped on so many other issues that have affected the people.
The big problem, of course, is he's part of the system. The whole system, the political system, is broken.
Corrupt.
It's broken, and we need to fix that. And there's only one way to do that. We need to sweep the old away and put in a whole new constitution. Now, we don't mean doing that bang, but what I am saying is a gradual process where all citizens get the right to look at the issue that we're going to vote on in a referendum, discuss it, send in their suggested amendments, and then we vote in a referendum to approve or not approve. That is real government democracy.
It's never good to see a government come into power with such a strong majority. Unfortunately, they can run roughshod over the people. Queensland has another problem with their political process, that they don't have a Senate, so it's just the House of Representatives. So when you've got the LNP with such a strong majority, they can just smash through whatever legislation they want to, and there's no oversight from a Senate, so they haven't got that checks and balances. Queensland used to have a Senate up to the early part of this century, and then it was changed for whatever reason. I believe that
control the public.
We really should have a Senate to give those checks and balances, and it's good to see that if you have one party has power in the House of Representatives and another party has the power in the Senate, then you've got that balance where they have to really get good legislation through to get it across the line, instead of just smashing it through without any debate.
Who do you think are the main puppet masters pulling the political strings from behind the scenes here in Australia?
Well, there's so much debt, everybody. How the hell are we going to pay off the debt? We're getting loans, and we're just borrowing more. We're borrowing more, and that's how we create our money, it seems. I'm not an expert, but I do believe if you want to create money, create any money in our society, as we've got the system we have, that you've got to borrow, and they don't lend you the interest, they only lend you the principal. So where's the money going to come from to pay back the interest on the money that we're creating? So we're just going to keep going for no real reason. I think we should have morals, and that should push us. I think there are some that don't have morals, and they've put this system on you, and you're going to go for the system as much as you don't have morals. So if you can stand up, be a good person, get out of usury. Don't use people. Don't look at people as workers for you because you're a higher person. That's egotism.
Look at what you can do for them.
Yeah, look at what you can do. That's it. Look at how you would treat your child. Would you say, just work for me to make money? No. Like, look at what being a good person is, what love is, and we need more in our society, and we need less debt, less usury, and I think we need more Aussie pride, more spirit, more freedom. Get behind us.
Oi, oi, oi!
You're watching Aussie Beach TV. The hottest girls you will ever see.
That's about my say, but just bear in mind you need to go away from this today and continue to spread the word. Don't give up.
Look, you know, that's true. Just very subtle, subliminal messages in Aussie Beach TV. You'd hardly notice them.
What would you do if you were Prime Minister?
I think, I'd start by just doing the opposite of everything.